And then I understand that, out of that work, and I heard you talk about helping women, but you started because you're obviously dealing with mothers, and you started to see the needs of mothers, not just around their financial well-being, but also violence towards women and, abuse and loss of voice and powerlessness. And so I'd love you to talk a little bit about, where you went in that field.
Our world, the world of women, is a challenging one. I don't want to say difficult one, but I'm grateful for education, and I'm grateful for women that open the doors for other women. I'm grateful for mothers who continue to stand up for their children and insist. I'm also grateful for women who insist in workplaces that other women should have opportunities for peace. Where I'm coming from is very patriarchal, if I can say. Patriarchy is very, very prevalent here. And you are raised to see yourself as worthy only when you're married. So there's a stigma around you're not married. Oh, okay, you're married, and then you left the marriage. And a lot of things. So you're married, you don't have children. And you would wonder that it's only for people who are not educated. You'll be shocked that even amongst educated people, there's a lot of these things going on. And it's difficult for people to come out and talk. So right now, there's been improvement. People are now talking and seeking counseling, but it's not the way it is in developed countries. No, it's not. So even now, I have a particular situation. The woman ran into the school and said to me, he almost strangled me. Yeah. And showed me her neck. And I was shocked. And even now, we're still trying to cancel her and find a way around it. She's, most times in trying to sort out these kinds of issues, you have to be careful. Because sometimes some of the women, they go back to their abusers. So it can put you in the middle and you can become confused.
Mm-hmm.
Because after you have counseled them and asked them to remove themselves from the place of abuse, it's very possible to find them the next day with their abuser. So what we do is that we continue to educate and open lines for counseling. And we continue to tell women that they're not less. In a place where people can look at you and tell you categorically that you're less, no matter what you have achieved in society, only because you are female, you're a woman. And you see it every time. I've been through it, but this is just an aside. So I know I had an issue with my car, so I called the mechanic, and when he was saying something, I said, I wish your husband was here because you're a woman, you won't understand what I'm saying. So it was terrible. And I looked at him, I said, what are you saying? He said it again. I said, don't say that. I have a brain. I understand what you're saying. By the way, I've driven this car for more than 5 years, so I know the challenges of the car. And you are telling me that you don't want to talk to me because you need my husband to be around. Someone who can understand, because you don't think that I can understand because I'm a woman. Yes. So when you are in that kind of situation, just like I learned the last time I listened to you during the webinar, you begin to be patient with the people that bring up that kind of situation, because I believe that they do not even understand what they're doing or what they're saying. But some other times you actually need to put your foot down.
Yeah, so that's the tightrope that you walk, isn't it? The tightrope, because on the one hand, you know, you're a disruptor, and you're disrupting a toxic system, using the most powerful tool of all, which is education. And so there's that whole tightrope of being a disruptor, but also remaining safe.
Yes, absolutely.
And how do you navigate that? Because I mean, you know, I'm sure that the woman I'm meeting today is not the same woman that I would have met 30 years ago. You know, I sense that you've been on a very long journey yourself. So how do you navigate the political difficulties that you face?
I'd say in recent times, humility and patience. Before now, activism and being fierce about it. But it doesn't really work as such. Because I remember, I think it was Nelson Mandela that said that if you really want to work alongside people of divergent views and opinions, sometimes you just have to let your own opinion slide and work with them at their own level to bring them up to your own level. I'm just explaining what I understood by what saying. It was a long walk to freedom. So oftentimes, now, let me say now, humility and what you taught us in the last webinar, which is, you know, to understand that difference in opinion does not necessarily mean there should not be mediation. So I'm just saying what I understood about what you said, because I had a note and I still go back to it because it's helping me a lot now. So humility and listening, you talked about listening, and not just listening, but listening to understand. So now I have listened to understand. I always reflect as I'm working with them. And I also hear the things that are not said. And when I hear the things that are not said, I give them grace. Because, yes, you just have to give people a measure of grace.